Hey folks, this is Randy Shea in the village of Victor, New York, town of Victor, New York, state of New York, United States of America, citizen of the world. Um, so today's video is going to be about Explore Victor Fest and the advertising going out about it. And before I say anything about that, first off, I've just advertised the event. Um, but before I say anything about it, I just want you to know something about me and Destination Victor, New York. Victor, New York is already a great destination. That's why most of us moved here, live here, etc. A lot of things that happened in the past that made it that way. Things are changing now, but it's still a great destination. So everybody should be on board with Destination Victor, New York, and our goal is to amplify the message. It's a great destination, and if and when we can, however we do it, we want to make it a more perfect destination, which at times requires constructive criticism. So this video is about the marketing of Explore Victor Fest. Overall, I think it's good, but there's one part that if you're an historian and you believe in truth in advertising, that I would like them to change. I already asked them. So far they haven't replied or responded that they would, but there's something that, even if it's for no other reason, for the sake of accurate history, is very important to point out. And that is that Explore Victor Fest was established in 2025, not 2022. That's what it says in the bottom. Now, for marketing reasons, I think it was a bank manager back around 2003, 2004, just a casual conversation, but we were talking about advertising and marketing, and she accurately pointed out that perception is everything. Now, it shouldn't be that way. It bothered me, it saddened me that she was probably right, that it wasn't the truth that was everything. The truth wasn't important as much in advertising anymore, and that was just the way it was. So we live in a divided nation. Most people would agree on a lot of things, but to some extent I think it's because, and I really believe this, is that we don't seek the truth anymore. We oftentimes just take a side and run with whatever the talking points are, right or wrong, good or bad, indifferent. Of course, truth is relative to some extent, but then sometimes there's facts that are easier to find. We should at least aspire towards what is true and accurate, right? Well, Explore Victor, New York, or Explore Victor Fest, says it's established in 2022. That's historically and factually not true. Okay, historically, this is the first year. 2025 is the first year of Explore Victor Fest. So, like I said, go to the event. A lot of planning, should be awesome. But let me just give you the history of it. So 2022, after COVID, 2021 was the last Hang Around Victor Day event. Okay, in Victor, the chamber shut down. No more Hang Around Victor Day. The town didn't want to pick it up and do the event. Ontario County Chamber of Commerce had no interest in doing an event, so it's just gone. I suggested to some of the planners at the time that we should keep it going, but they wanted to rebrand it or redo something different, and so they wanted to have events. Okay, so 2022, the Food and Music Fest was established, the Climb Aboard Victor Day event was established, and the Hometown Day event was established. 2 out of the 3 were really great successes. The Food and Music Fest was spawned from really a village effort of between. I have a lot of respect for John Turner and all that he did. He did way more than just the Department of Public Works head. So I don't agree with him on everything, but he did a great job. And one of the things that he did, talking with a member of our community, Karen Lynch, who was a very accomplished events planner and the various things she's done in her past, and they came up with the idea of a Food and Music Fest. No fancy name, just Food and Music Fest, or Music and Food Fest. I think it's Food and Music Fest. Regardless, I don't have any notes with me, so regardless. Anyway, so Food and Music Fest. So it turned out to be a great success in the first year, and the second year I think it was even better. We had like rain in the first year, and the second year, 2023, actually I think there's been 3 years. 2022 was when it was started. At the same time, another event that was occurring is a Hometown Day event. Now the first year of that was mediocre at best, and then unfortunately the second year we had rain. And the best estimate would be maybe we had 500 visitors to the event on the second year. For first year, maybe 1,000. Food and Music Fest had 3, 4, 5,000. I think the last year was the best with the fireworks and just all the work and planning, and really to a large extent keeping the cost down, because it was actually the sponsors. By the way, there's a lot of sponsors that make this stuff happen, private businesses that make Victor an even better destination, that deserve recognition. All right, so come back to the point. Explore Victor New York, or Explore Victor Fest, historically and factually should be, you just change the little thing at the bottom. I asked them to do it. Say established in 2025. Now for marketing reasons, they want to say it was established in 2022 because Climb Aboard Victor Day, which was a smashing success right from the first year, 2022, they had it down at the mall. There was a store that closed down. There was plenty of space. Drew Cusimano just pulled it together all in 1 year. To have it that great of a success in the first year was awesome. It was a community effort, but Drew Cusimano is a town board member who deserves a lot of appreciation for getting that going. After COVID, we had to have something, and he did that. He was the person that spearheaded all of that. And in the mall and everybody else who was involved, there's other people that deserve credit, but it was just a community effort. We had an awesome event down at the mall the first year in 2022. I think there was probably 4,000 to 5,000 people that showed up, partially because the mall already had people coming to it. But then the next year, it was in the Village. And then the following year it was in the Village, but they combined 2 events. The Hometown Day event was mediocre at best as far as success the first year. The second year, because of the rain mostly, the planning was probably great, but it just didn't have a big turnout. The third year, last year in 2024, they combined with Climb Aboard Victor Day event. Now, I had heard that they wanted to have the more events the better, so they had the Food and Music Fest, Climb Aboard Victor Day, Hometown Day. But Hometown Day benefited big time by joining forces last year in 2024. The event probably still only had about 4,000 or 5,000 visitors altogether, but it was nice weather, and it was a successful event. So this year they decided to have the 2 separate events combine into one officially, and rebrand it to call it the Explore Victor Fest. The problem I have is that private sector people, businesses and stuff, are held to an account when they do false or misleading advertising. There's all kinds of rules and fines and things. So, I believe in truth in advertising, and I also believe that history should be recorded as it really is, and not what the victors of the battle or whatever get to dictate whatever the history is. I believe that history is history. Factual history is that Explore Victor Fest. They should very easily change. They could do it right now, but I don't think they will. But hopefully they hear me, and if you agree with me, advocate. But for an accuracy standpoint, it should say established in 2025, because it wasn't even thought of until this year. And I know you could say, well, the end justifies the means and Machiavellian and all that stuff, but it's a decision. Do you believe that perception is everything, or do you believe that the truth is important? I think you can have both. Marketing has to embellish a little bit on whatever it is. So I don't have a problem with that, but there's no real need to say it was established in 2022 when that is factually incorrect. And that's my opinion. All right? I think that's part of the reason we have so much trouble in our society. I can't control what happens in Albany and in U.S. Congress and Capitol and a lot of places, but I came to the conclusion, well, I'm going to try, and part of the reason I'm still doing this stuff, even though I get accolades over here, and then other people that just don't like me at all over there, because I'm using my First Amendment rights, and I'm just a guy. I'm not the oracle of truth. I'm not the one that has the opinion everybody should listen to, but I personally think it's not hard to do, and they should change it to established in 2025. If for no other reason, I want the historians to record it that way, that it was established in 2025, even if they don't change the marketing on it. I've seen a pattern, though, of some things that are going on, and I don't know why people feel they have to try to fudge things, or whatever you want to call it. And maybe perception is more important, but I've seen sort of a pattern of that happening the last few years, in some of the things going on in our village and town. And I'll just tell you that, it might not be important to anybody. Maybe it's just me, but I think it's important. Okay, so I think it's important. I especially think it's important because I am in marketing. I'm in internet marketing. I do websites and stuff, and I have to make some tough decisions. I actually even got angry. Perhaps I shouldn't have got so angry, but a client of mine wanted me to say some things that weren't true, to do some marketing. I said we don't need to do that, but they were insistent. They were the clients that were going to pay me, and I lost them as clients. I lost 2 websites at once with them, but they're good people and all, but I don't do that. So I don't do it because it's wrong. I don't do it because I think I might get fined for it. So why is it that private businesses, though, in general, can be held to account if they'd say anything that's deceptive or false, and there's all kinds of laws and rules and fines and everything else, but the government, now you tell me if I'm right or wrong, the government doesn't seem to have to abide by their own rules. So in Victor, New York, it's a small little thing I'm asking them to change it. If they don't, that's fine. I still want you to go and enjoy the event. I still think that we can make Victor a more perfect place, probably partially because we do know how to respectfully disagree with one another and have constructive criticism. And if I don't have a way of doing that by going to the meetings and to the government and asking them and stuff like that, and then the general public doesn't even know about stuff like what I'm bringing up right now, I'm going to do it on social media. And by the way, do not underestimate the value of the surveys that I've been doing on Victor and Farmington, New York news, events, and surveys. Okay? Participate in them and share in them, and realize you don't have to agree with everybody. And if the survey results come out opposite of what you believe, realize that's part of the process that can help us all. In the comment section, you can always add your stuff. Be respectful, no bullying. I do things that, I think that how things should be, and it's my way of doing things. I'm not perfect, and I don't make perfect decisions, but I have somebody in that group that I regularly disagree with, and he puts his opinion up, and I don't really go after him. I say, I don't agree with you, but I hope you have a great day, and whatever. Isn't that how we're supposed to be? So, but because it's expression, First Amendment is expression. So my belief is this, and it still is. There's a First Amendment and a Second Amendment. The First Amendment is the one that everybody should realize it's first for a reason. That's what we should go to. The Second Amendment was established not so that you could go and use your gun to go squirrel hunting. I won't say much more than that, but if you really research what the Second Amendment was for, it was pretty much because if the First Amendment's not working, then maybe the Second Amendment might be needed. Now, God forbid that should ever happen, because I don't think that's the right way to go. In fact, when I was in the U.S. military, I prayed every day that I would never have to use the skills that I picked up there. So I don't know how many people would really still be listening at this point. So I got the main message out of the way right from the get-go. Yeah, I'm going to put a little banner up and just cross out 2002, but I'll use the logo that they're using for Explore Victor Fest. And then if you agree with me, it's still not enough. I mean, it would just be a tiny change in their marketing. They wouldn't have to change too much. Just even the photo probably would be enough. But to say that it was established in 2022 is false, and it's advertising. And to say that it was established in 2025 is truthful. And what doesn't hurt the advertising, I don't think, to say that it was established in 2025. I don't know why they felt they needed to say it was in 2022, but I don't know, maybe it just was easier, but it's not true. And historical fact, historians out there, please record it accurately. Explore Victor Fest was established in 2025. And I guess that's it. Have a great day.